Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's now 10 a.m. in KOC Computers. So we will start our event. Welcome to the E&D Contractors Welfare Measures Enhancement Virtual Drive 2021. This is a field level cluster event exclusively for the North Kuwait asset. We are speaking to you from HSE E&D team, Technical Support Group, Exploration and Drilling Directorate. Today is the 27th October 2021. This program is going to go for 2 hours duration. So the theme of this particular campaign is achieving better performance through effective employee welfare measures. With that, I just would like to give a brief background of this virtual platform, which we are using the MS Teams. Please use the different options on the control panel. You have the camera button. You can. We request everybody to switch off their cameras because of the connectivity issues. And we also have the microphone button there. Whenever you want to say anything or you want to have any question, you can unmute yourself. But we recommend you to keep muting during the presentation so that we have a better control. And we have a sharing option also. We have the 4 speakers today, and they are going to share their presentations. Of course, as a standby, we have with us our control also. The next button is the hand button. You can raise the hand whenever you have any questions. You have the chat box function also. You can also mention anything in the chat box during the presentations as well. And there are 2 boys sitting there that will give you the who are in the meeting, participating in this meeting. So that's about the control panel. With that, we would like to welcome our team leader, Mr Marzouq Al Otaibi, team leader of the HSE E&D team, for his opening remarks. Aboli.
Thank you, Ashok. Good morning, everyone, and welcome in this exclusive drive on welfare management. The main objective of this event is to update you all with the recent KOC welfare management procedure, and also to share with you the best practices of our E&D business partner. We had our first session of welfare management in mid of October, which was participated by around 100 people and approximately 15 of our business partners, and they have shared many of their best practices related to their welfare management. Moreover, we have also scheduled virtual events of this welfare drive for all employees separately for Southeast assets, which is going to be conducted in mid-November, and also West Kuwait asset, which is going to be conducted on 15th of December. I would like to thank you all for your participation and support, and request you all to learn from each other the best practices of welfare management, and wishing you all successful event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aboli, for your encouraging remarks. As you said, this is our second event we are doing exclusively for the North Kuwait Rig Fleet as well as the E&D facilities. So with that, we'd like to continue with our agenda for the today's meeting with the HSE Moment. Today, we have invited Ms Reem Hamad Rasheed. She's a safety engineer, recently joined in our team almost a month back. And this is our first meeting exposing to all the drilling contractors. So she's going to present a wonderful and useful welfare-related HSE Moment today. Madam Reem, go ahead.
Thank you, Ashok. Assalamu alaikum. Today at the HSE Moment, I'd like to present the steps required for requesting the medical evacuation of injured personnel by helicopter at the drilling rig with the support of Organizational Resistance Team. To begin, we would like to inform you that the KOC Call for Emergency Response Plan, GE 026, has been revised recently by the KOC Organization Resilience Team and approved by the KOC HSSE Implementation Committee. The plan is revised every 5 years to ensure it's up to date and effective. The revised procedure emphasizes on training drills and exercise as part of educating all concerned about their roles and responsibilities in terms of emergency response, which promotes safety awareness and shows the organization's commitment to the safety of their workers. One of the important drills considered in the ERP is medical evacuation through helicopters. In addition to 2 KOC helicopters, KOC has arrangement with Kuwait Air Force, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Health, and Kuwait National Guard helicopters to provide assistance when needed to ensure safe evacuation. It is the responsibility of ACC operators to mobilize the nearest helicopter depending on the location of the injured person. As part of the Medivac rules program, Organization Resilience Team will be conducting planned and unplanned drills. The table presented displays the 7 planned drills to be conducted during the year 21-22 at drilling rigs. So far, 2 drills were successfully completed, one in BHDC 40 rig in West Kuwait Asset, and the other one in KDC 47 rig in North Kuwait Asset. Now we would like to highlight the 3-step process in requesting medical evacuation through helicopters. Step 1, call 160 Emergency Communication Center and explain the situation of the injured person. Include rig, details of rig, location, mobile number, contract number, and employee ID. In step 2, the ACC operator will dispatch ambulance service to the nearest location to the rig and decide if the requirement of the medical evacuation depending on the injured person's location, need, and type of emergency. For step 3, it's very important to keep continuous communication with the ACC operators to mobilize the injured person in the rig emergency vehicle along with the rig medic until they reach the nearest helipad location. As we can see, a planned Medivac drill took place on the 14th of September 2021 at the rig BHDC 40 in West Kuwait. The scenario of the injured person on the pipe rack was given to examine the response presented by the team, as you can see in the first photo. Immediately, the rig medic responded to the injured person and administered first aid. And of course, during the whole process, instant and continual communication with 160 was kept to provide details on the incident and location. By the rig emergency vehicle to the West Kuwait Clinic helipad location. The medical support was given to the injured person by the West Kuwait Clinic until the helicopter arrived to carry them to the designated hospital. The drill was successful. To conclude, overwhelming evidence suggests that the safety is generated by performance. Safety cannot exist when teams fail under pressure. Therefore, we need to have coordination and teamwork among the rig, ECC, and helicopter crew. And best wishes from the HSE E&D team, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms Reem, and it's very useful information you have given to all our rigs today. In fact, we had some issues related to the major incidents as well as personal injuries. So these particular drills which we are doing will be certainly useful for our business partners. We already shared the presentation as well as the video presentation also to all the rigs. Again, we are requesting that you be familiar with this particular procedure, how to medical evacuate the injured personnel in case of serious injuries by helicopter to the designated hospital, so that we can save the lives. We call it as a golden hour. So that is very important. And again, every responsibility of mobilization lies with the ECC operator. Your job is only to communicate. Thank you, Madam Reem. And with that, we would like to continue with today's presentation. We have 2 sessions, and session 1 will be given by the HSE E&D team, by myself, and I'm Ashok Garlapati, HSE consultant working with HSE E&D team. Session 2 will be by our business partners. As our team leader was telling, that sharing the best practices of welfare measures is one of the key events today, and we are going to have a conclusion after all the 3 sessions, and we can have any discussions afterwards also. So in the session 1, what exactly we are going to talk is significance of the E&D contractor welfare measurements drive, why we are doing this program, which is already briefed by our team leader, but I'm going to talk little in detail with the objectives and other things. And we will also elaborate on the recently updated KOC Contractor Welfare Procedure. And yesterday only we have received the evidences required for the welfare procedure audits. That also I'll be briefing. So with that, I would like to start with the session 1. But before that, I just want to brief on the session 2, what we are going to discuss. And session 2 is importance of contractor welfare measures by Stuart Craig. He is our head of HSE Unit of Deep Drilling Group. And there are 3 business partners from the SAIPAM as well as KCA DeutagGMBH and Nabors International. So that's our plan for the today. And with that, I would like to start the session 1, and which is why we are doing this particular welfare measures enhancement to drive. In fact, before I come to our why we are doing within KOC, I just want to briefly highlight on our employee welfare definitions with respect to the ILO, International Labour Organization. It says that employee welfare should be understood as such service, facilities, and amenities which may be established in or in the vicinity of undertakings to enable the persons employed in them to perform their work in healthy and peaceful surroundings and to avail of facilities which improve their health and bring high morale. Okay, and what are the benefits of the employee welfare benefits? Employee welfare is in the interest of the employee as well as the employer and also the society as a whole. It enables workers to perform their work in healthy and favorable environment. Hence, it improves the efficiency of workers and keeps them in content, thereby contributing to high employee morale. So as you see on the right side, there are objectives of the employee welfare. The most important thing is the providing the motivation and retaining the employees. Again, at the bottom line, increases the productivity, creating the goodwill of the company, creating strong employer and employee bond. You know, that's very important. So that's what we are going to discuss today, how our business partners are creating this bond through the best practice of the welfare measures. And with that in mind, our manager technical support, Abu Hussein and Ali Saleh, so he came up with this particular initiative for the TSG group, technical support group, that during this year we want to focus on the contractor welfare measures, which is required as per the KOC, as per the ministry regulations, and we'll be doing the further verifications. So this is our major initiative during this year, and there are milestones also available there, so which we already completed. Now, as our team leader said, we completed the inaugural session on the 12th of October 2021. Believe me, it was a wonderful event, about 100 participants, and more than that, there was a good information shared by the business partners. And again, the objective of this event is to familiarize on contractor welfare measures required as per KOC and ministry regulations, to share the welfare best practices implemented across E&D Directorate towards the better performance. Again, that is a key word. To monitor and verify the compliance of welfare measures at E&D facilities, to develop and ensure implementation of corrective action plans, whichever we are doing from the audits and inspections. So going back to the 12th October 2021 inaugural session, we were telling that it was presented by so many business partners. Of course, our HSE group was there. We did the 4 sessions considering the inaugural session. In the session 1, we talked about the importance. Session 2 by the HSE group and all the business partners. And we would like to thank Trinidad Drilling, Grey Wolf, John Energy, as well as subcontractor of Sinopec ILC, and TSG coordinator was presenting the importance of the welfare that day, as well as well surveillance group coordinator. And we had representatives from the Gufasco and Eastern United, and Schlumberger was there, SCOMI Oil Tools, as well as Weatherford. And there was a good information from the well surveillance group as well. by Boretz as well as by Al Mansouri and Napesco and Al Quraif. So we had a wonderful sessions on that day. Of course, we already shared the brief information of these sessions and the best practices. In continuation of that journey, we are doing our virtual campaigns, which is today is North Kuwait. Again, 17th November is West Kuwait, and Southeast Kuwait will be doing on 15th December. So that's our plan, because we want to share these best practices across all KOC fields. So that's one of the advantage of these virtual sessions, you know. So with that, I would like to give a brief overview of the KOC Contractor Welfare Procedure, which we call it as a KOC HE 25. And as you see on the screen, I just want to tell you everybody that whatever I speak comes to you fast because it is a voice. Sound speed is much more. The screen comes to you little later, maybe 5 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, we don't know, depending on your connectivity speed. So sometimes you need to synchronize my speech as well as the slide. In case you have any problem, you can sign out and go back and come back also. So, but that's what I want to tell you, that there is a transition delay depending on the connectivity. I am just showing the now screen KOC Welfare Procedure, KOC HE 25. You see the screenshot of the procedure. So with the next 10-15 minutes, I am going to talk what exactly this procedure, mainly focusing on the contractor and subcontractor responsibilities. So basically, we already talked about the why employee welfare is required. I'm going to brief on the definitions, KOC HSSE procedure, the objectives of this welfare procedure, and the applicable laws of Kuwait, as well as the KOC standards and KPC standards and the regulations. And most important thing is the key responsibilities and what are the requirements as per this procedure. Every contractor, what they are supposed to do it, every subcontractor, what they are supposed to do it, and implementation and monitoring is also we'll be talking. So concept of welfare, I'll change it to the next slide. Probably you are seeing the concept of welfare slide. So the concept of welfare is basically, we already explained about the ILO, International Labour Organization. It's a basic requirements at the work, and it provides adequate health and welfare arrangements, complying with the law, and most importantly, keeping the workforce happy. They should feel at home away from home. That's what is the welfare procedure. Employees tend to perform better and be happier at their work if they are working in a safe and healthy environment. That's one of the important thing, the concept, you know. Again, I already briefed on the welfare mandates, but I'm just going to go through this circle and let's talk about that. Basically, it talks about the workplace health and safety, ethical recruitment, human rights and non-discrimination. Now we are working with the International Finance Corporation, IFC. The KPC is getting some sort of financial assistance from them, and as part of that, they are reviewing these welfare procedures and other things. So that's also one of the requirement of that IFC requirement is human rights and non-discrimination, the fair treatment and play, grievance redressal, communication channel, how you are communicating with your employees, motivation, recognition and rewards, employee training, employee well-being, compliance to labor laws. Okay, that's one of the important thing. At the inner circle, you have the social sustainability and workers' welfare mandates. You know, these are all the mandates which we will be focusing as part of this procedure. So let's talk about briefly about the definitions. So I'll change the slide to the next slide, definitions. Basically, these are the employee welfare, all those services and facilities and amenities provided by the employer, in addition to the wages or salaries, to enable employee perform their work in healthy, congenial surroundings. That means very comfortable surroundings, conducive to good health and high morale. That's another important thing. And what are the measures? You can just read out those measures which is related to the policies, wages, food and drinking water, including the transportation. It's not from only providing these facilities, and also you need to provide the transportation for your workers from the rig camps to the rigs as well as whatever it is. Now that is very important. healthcare, pre-employment as well as the periodic medical examination, maternity benefits for the women workers, working hours, accommodation, first aid, PPE, uniforms, awareness and training, rest changing facilities, all these things comes under the welfare measures. Another important thing also comes is the counseling. The psychological healthcare intervention. I'm going to share some important resource, free resource at the end of my presentation regarding the psychological standard, which ISO 45003, which has been recently released by ISO during the March 2021, which is online training is available free of cost with a certificate of participation. I'm going to share that so you can just get back to your crew as well. So that is related to the counseling and psychological health. And employee assistance programs. What exactly is this? Employee sponsored benefit programs intended to help employees deal with the personal problems that might adversely impact their job performance, because sometimes you need to know what is happening in the employees' brains. They may have hundreds of problems, so that will reduce the performance as well. So you need to have a employee assistance programs. And let's deep dive into the procedure now. KOC HSSE procedure, what it says. So I've changed the slide. Again, it depends on your connectivity speed. So the procedure is updated in July 2021, which you are seeing the old one actually. So and it is updated with all the requirements. Procedure includes welfare measures as per applicable Kuwait national regulations and international best practices and standards. And it is applicable to, remember, it is applicable to all the contractors, subcontractors, and secondment employees working solely under KOC contracts. So it is applicable to everybody. Do not think that it is only applicable to the contractors, but down the line, everybody, subcontractors, subcontractors, everybody. And this procedure does not cover contractors, subcontractors that are not registered under KOC contracts. Of course, it is only for the KOC contracts. Okay. And it is also not applicable to the suppliers, vendor, consultants who perform only studies. For example, last week we had a North Kuwait risk assessment study on consultant from India. It is not applicable to them because they are doing only the studies and third-party audits. So ISO auditors comes, so it is not applicable to them. Only the signed contracts it is applicable. Okay. And now changing the slide to the objectives of this procedure. Basically, to identify and implement relevant welfare measures as per applicable statutory obligations, as I was telling, KPC standards also, and implementation of international guidelines, standards, including International Finance Corporation, which we are going now. And okay, something happened. Maybe people have stopped sharing the slides. Let me share back again. Okay, I'm sharing back again because I have a second PC which let me know that what participants are seeing. Okay, now I'm showing the objective slide. Basically, we were talking about the implementation of the international standards and guidelines, and compliance with the requirement is the sole responsibility of the contractor and respective subcontractors. Okay. Now I'm showing the slide related to the applicable laws, regulations, and standards. So that's what I'm showing now. Let's see what are the laws applicable for the welfare measures. Not only the KOC procedures like a contractor and vendor management, there are the KOC G33 guidelines for contractors, KOC G12 HSE oversight procedures, HE 007, which talks about the pre-employment and periodic medical examination. There is a KPC standards on occupational health management. There is a KPC standard on contractor vendor management, and the private sector labor law, which is government of Kuwait, state of Kuwait, and labors in the oil business sector law. There is a separate labor law for the oil sector employees that is also applicable. And the third one is the Ministry of Social Affairs and Labor Social Security law. That's also applicable. So these are the regulations. And all these regulations are available in the procedure. And in case you have not received any of these procedure, any of these laws, you can always put a message in the chat box. We'll be sharing again. So there's a bylaw for the national manpower and Ministry of Health, Food Handlers, Kuwait municipality regulations, ministry resolutions for the social affairs and guideline for the Kuwaitization within company contracts, IFC, International Finance Corporation Performance Standard. If you put in the Google IFC standard, very good information is available related to the worker welfare and workers accommodation process and standards, a guidance note by the IFC, which is the EBRD, the European Board of Reconstruction and Development. So that is also available there. And let's continue with the key responsibilities. I am now showing the key responsibility slide. And basically, we have some internal groups like a corporate HSE group. They will be responsible for the pre-qualification. And again, there is a commercial support group there. They ensure the validity of the welfare requirements in the. I'm sure everyone is aware of the GCC, which is the general conditions of the contract, and review and compilation of the confidential quarterly reports. We have the legal group also. They will be focusing on the legal provisions related to the welfare from time to time. And let's continue with the very important responsibility of the superintendent of contract, which is who will be responsible for the obtaining the contractor worker welfare plan and monitoring and ensure the contractor adherence, periodic performance evaluation, doing the biannual audits, as well as the prepare and issue annual inspection schedule. So these things will be focusing by the superintendent of contract, and you'll also be focusing on the corrective and action plan and interviews with the random sample of the contractor workers during the audits, because we want to know what contractor is submitting is correct or no. Okay, and to carry out the inspection surveys, to initiate and coordinate annual verification of the biannual audits, and to support KOC Superintendent of Contract is the Asset and Directorate HSE teams, the like HSE E&D team. That's what we are doing today. We are doing these sessions to support and to create awareness sessions among our Superintendent of Contracts, controlling teams, as well as the business partners, even the subcontractors also. And we will also be doing the annual verification, identify the key observations and action plans. All these things we will be doing. There is another team leader, health and environment is there. He is the author of this procedure basically. And they will be advising the commercial support group, coordinating with the KPC, creating the awareness. In fact, last inaugural session they were there, and facilitating corporate management reviews. All these things they will be doing it. Most important thing, most important slide which I am showing now is 4.7, which is KOC contractors. And what exactly they have to do it? They have to establish and implement the welfare procedure based on this requirement, as well as on the terms of contract, as well as they are accountable for the subcontractors. Do not think that I have given the subcontract to somebody and it is his responsibility, but you are accountable. If he is not doing, KOC will ask you, not the subcontractor. And prepare and submit worker welfare plan. We already received some of the worker welfare plans actually, and they'll be reviewing and updating the same as required by the superintendent of contract, and ensure respect to subcontractors prepare the worker welfare plans, initiatives and support programs related to the workplace, as well as good working relationship. Mental health disorders and assessment also one of the requirements. This is a one-time assessment already communicated to all the contractors. They have to do this. And to obtain approval of KOC regarding dismissal or relocation of the key personnel in the contract, which is again one of the important requirements. Also, contractors shall conduct interviews with the random sample of workers of the respective subcontractors. Like KOC is doing contractors interviews, you are supposed to do the subcontractors employees interviews. And now I'm showing you the KOC Contractor Welfare Procedure. What are the procedural requirements? Basically, human resources policy should be there by every contractor. That should be in bilingual, English and Arabic. And of course, this is the minimum requirement. You are welcome to do other languages also, because sometimes you will have the people from Chinese, Indians, or Thai as well as. So you are welcome to do that. But minimum requirement is English and Arabic. Ensure subcontract. What this handbook should consist: rights under the national laws, rights related to hours of work, wages, overtime, compensation, other benefits, and also ensure that subcontractors also do the same, and working conditions should be there, employment contract to comply with the applicable laws, all these things should be there, part of the working conditions in terms of employment. And recruitment, contractors shall ensure that private employment agents are engaged. The charging of recruitment from the worker by the private agencies is strictly prohibited. It's not at all allowed. And there will be evidences also. I'm going to show you what are the evidences required under each clause of this procedure. Payment of wages, contractors shall ensure payment of wages, and wages shall be paid through the bank accounts, not by the cash, certainly. And all records of payment wages shall be maintained. And working hours, rotation and rest policy, particularly for the drilling crew, rotation and rest policy is ensured. The policies shall be periodically reviewed and documented. The leave provisions like annual leave, compassionate leave, patient escort leave, Hajj leave, maternity leave for the women employees, marriage leave for the women employees, as well as unpaid leave, emergency and medical sick leave. All these are the leave provisions. And I'm now showing you the slide 5.3, accommodation services. There are some specific volume of each employee is mentioned here. And we are also doing the verification of these requirements during our inspections and verifications by our inspection engineers as well as the field supervisors. So that also we are doing. And workers organizations, workers are permitted to join existing trade unions wherever it is applicable. The food hygiene, we had some unfortunate incident related to the food poisoning recently. The rig was shut down for 2 or 3 days. So food hygiene is so important. Imagine how difficult situation when the food hygiene goes wrong. So everybody will be breaking down, So all these things are very important as part of the procedure. The transportation, which I was talking already, and the transportation shall be in vehicles that are safe, reliable, roadworthy, with all the procedural requirements, And occupational health and safety, like a pre-employment medical examination, as well as the periodic examination also is very important. Insurance coverage and mental health disorders, which I already talked. And first aid facilities also very important. Social security for the Kuwaiti employees. And all these things are the important. Social and child allowance also important. Uniform, including PPE, that the controlling team has to approve all those PPEs as per the KOC requirements. Grievances, in case of any employee has got any grievance, you should have a proper transparent mechanisms. And the child labor is strictly prohibited under the age of 18 years. The forced labor is also prohibited. Contractor employee assistance program, which we already talked, and assessment of mental health of workers also we already talked, conducting psychological evaluation, and we need to maintain the records of that. Toilets and washing facilities also important, and rest and changing facilities also important. Everything has got a requirement, procedural requirement, and during the audit we will be doing the verification of these things. And implementation and monitoring compliance, I am showing the slide now. What is expected from the contractors and subcontractors. Okay. Implementation, the welfare procedure are incorporated in the KOC general terms of conditions contract, all model contracts, and it is well known, and that's the purpose of this particular event, that we want you to ensure that you are aware of these requirements, and how much you are aware, how much you are implementing. We will be doing the biannual audits once in 6 months, and there is a procedure for that also. The report submitted to the manager, group manager, as well as the manager HSE and HSE assets, and audit includes the interviews with the sample of workers, and in addition to biannual audits, the following shall be implemented, like conducting the interviews, and subcontractor also, respect to main contractor, has to do the same which KOC is doing, and biannual audit shall be verified once in a year, and respective asset and directorate HSE shall also do the we identify the key observation and action points from the monthly reports. So that also we'll be doing in as part of the monitoring compliance. And there are requirements for the when we have to do the biannual audits, as well as the which are the KOC authorities. Like KOC Superintendent of Contract, he will be responsible for the biannual audits, interview the sample of workers and review records and accommodation inspections, and everything as a very, very simplified format. We wanted to peel the banana and the people to eat it. So we have made it as a so simple, you have to just read it and implement it. And as a asset directorate HSE team, once in a year, as well as a verification to be initiated in coordination with the respective superintendent of contract. And this is again the frequency. So all these things are there clearly. And documentation evidence. I'm going to go through the detailed document related to the documentation evidence. What are the documents you have to maintain? That's a separate document. So I'll skip this quickly. And there are checklists available in the procedure. We have given the detailed checklist. So those checklists will really helpful to you while we are coming for the audits, and also it helps to you while implementing the procedure also. And the interview, what exactly we are going to talk during the interview. So we will be checking on the handbooks, the contracts, recruitment letter, pay records, timesheets, medical insurance cards, all these things, and accommodation checklist, which we are already doing during the rig camps verification by our field supervisors. And there is a detailed flow diagram how this particular process will be completed. Everything is there in the procedure. I just want to refresh our mind as part of this awareness session. And so there are requirements and other things. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open the each clause evidence. What are the evidences required? That is quickly, it will have a very good information because yesterday only we have received this. So this is what I'm going to show you now. I'm showing you the memo which is dated 26th October, which is just yesterday. We have received this memo related to the our evidences basically. Okay, there is a pertinent evidences required from the controlling teams, HSE asset directorates, main contractor and subcontractor. It's very detailed and very simplified information they have given. We thank H&D team for that. If you see this particular slide, which I'm showing you the evidence from controlling team, for biannual audits, what are the evidences? For the TLHSE assets evidences, and let's focus on the contractors, HR policies, for example. So what exactly we will be looking during the audit? Bilingual HR policy, evidence of circulation across all the contractors, how the communication has gone, and employment contracts we will be looking at. As part of this employment contract, what evidences? Employment contract with all information, like what I explained, code of ethics and offer letter, and recruitment evidences, what we'll be doing, recruitment policy, whether the employers paid any fees to the the agency, because we are not supposed to charge any fees from the employees. So that also will be checking. Payment of wages, how it is being transferred, working hours, what evidence will be looking, exclusive document in HR policy applicable to Kuwaiti and non-Kuwaiti employees as per the law, and leave provisions, how the employees are being provided leaves. We'll be looking the evidences. Leaves provision can be included in HR policy, all applicable leaves, and accommodation services as per the checklist. We'll be looking at it, but how the frequency, what is the system is being done, in case some accommodation is not provided, salary slip showing accommodation allowances paid, that also will be looking. And worker organizations, any relevant equipment. Again, the important thing is the food evidence. What evidence will be looking? Evidence provided for food and water supplies. So these are all the things we'll be looking. Transportation, how it is being done. Occupational health and safety, which is the pre-employment as a periodical medical examination. We'll be looking at that. And first aid facilities, what evidence we require. Very, very simplified document they have given. Social security for the Kuwaiti employees and social allowance for the Kuwaiti employees, how it is being handled. The PPE, whether it is approved by the KOC controlling team, how it is being given. Sometimes when we go to the inspections and rig sites, there are the poor PPE is being used. When the employee says that have not been given from last 2 years, sir. So during the interview that is done means it's a failure of your whole welfare process. And the grievances, what evidences, grievance policy, how it is being sorted out, and child labor. So child labor policy, forced labor, the policy, and contractor employee assistance program, like, how we are helping the employees related to the counseling and all those things. Toilet and washing facilities, evidence we'll be seeing, rest and changing facilities, the provision of the rest and changing facilities, that evidence, and training and awareness, like training matrix KOC GE 28 will really talk about what are the trainings to be given, and including the contractor welfare and stress management, and worker welfare plan and signed worker welfare template by the controlling team. And another important evidence from the subcontractor, we will be looking, of course, by the respective main contractor has to provide all the procedural requirements are equally applicable to subcontractors. Hence, all above evidences required from main contractor are applicable to the subcontractors. So during the biannual audits, we will be looking at that. So these are the very simplified evidences document which I shown you now. So this is what our session 1, which is talking about the talking about the welfare procedure and as well as the evidences. So thank you, gentlemen, and we'll continue with the session 2, which is first we'll be talking by the Stuart Craig, our deep drilling group HSE unit head, and he'll be talking on the importance of contractor welfare measures, as well as after his little speech, we'll be going to other business partners for their sharing of their own best practices. So with that, I would like to hand over the virtual floor to Mr. Stuart Craig, Mr. Stuart Winston Craig. Go ahead, Craig.
Yep. Thank you very much, Mr. Ashok. I presume all can hear me?
Yes, we can hear loud and clear, Stuart. Yes.
I won't put my camera on because anybody who's seen me will know that won't be good for anybody's welfare. I just want to say a little bit about, having these sessions. We can see that KOC and in particular E&D take the issue of workplace welfare very seriously. You've already pointed some of them out, but I'll go over it again. Some of the benefits of good welfare are obviously good health of the workforce, high morale, increased productivity, higher staff retention, which leads to recruitment cost savings, improved company reputation, early identification of potential mental or physical employee issues. Also, if the company looks after you and you've got good welfare issues, it attracts quality candidates for new positions, which means ultimately over time you have a more effective and quality workforce. All of the above means the company operates at a higher level, and this will be reflected in their KPIs eventually, and in turn will increase the potential in business at the tender stage. So, yeah, we know there's procedures in place for welfare, and we're getting more procedures in place. For example, again, supply of good toilet facilities, good accommodation, designated break times, both work breaks and field breaks, good food and accommodation, the hygiene that goes with it, safe travel of personnel, monitoring of employees' health, consistent and fair salary repayments, taking into account local conditions, about weather conditions there, providing heat stations, heat breaks, etc., etc. However, just recently, or the last couple of years, with the COVID thing, that's put a further spotlight on worker welfare as, extraordinary times result in extraordinary effects, with more being asked of workers with regard to increased levels of wearing PPE, changing of behaviours, and in some cases, extended working periods and workload, and in other cases, people being stuck at home and then suffering sort of financial problems, etc. So we have to be aware of that. What I will say is, what I'll finish off with is this. With all these sessions and the increased focus on workplace welfare, it's our desire that the company and the contractors alike don't just view good workplace welfare as a procedure to be followed, but as part of the company's mission and an integral part of how they conduct their business. As was the case of safety when it was in its infancy, not everybody saw the financial benefits instantly. And it's the same with welfare. The benefits aren't always directly and instantly obvious. But I will say this, any organisation that makes workplace welfare a high priority will have a powerful tool in their toolbox in order to thrive for the future. With that, I'll hand you back over to Mr Ashok and then further on to the guys giving the presentations. I'd like to thank all the HSE supervisors from Deep Drilling Group who've taken the time to join in on this session. And over to you, Mr Ashok. I hope it's okay.
Thank you, Stuart. It's good that you're connected with the COVID-19 management and welfare. It has really proven during the COVID period that welfare measures have really helped us to overcome these challenges by the COVID. Thank you for connecting that. I know many HSE supervisors also attending. I'm sure they also got some sort of information that what they need to check during their regular inspections and verifications. Thank you so much. And with that, we would like to continue with our next presentation with Francois, HSE Manager of SAIPAM. Mr. Francois, would you like to share the screen, or you want me to present your presentation?
Ashok, you can go ahead and show the presentation, no problem.
Okay. Yes, sir. I shared your slide. Yes. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Firstly, I want to thank KOC for the opportunity to present the SAIPAM presentation to the other contractors and KOC. We really appreciate that. So we can start. As you know, SAIPAM is also an international company, and we are also following all the international rules and regulations and laws. SAIPAM policies and documents, we are using two sets of type of documents. The one is the documents that is from corporate, that is applying right over all the SAIPAM drilling and construction work sites. Very important, there is two documents to mention. The one is the one on human rights, and the second one is the code of ethics. That is from corporate. Then locally, we have got all our other plans: grievance management, fatigue management, worker welfare plan, hygienic surveillance checklist, and the most important one, employee handbook for the drilling project. Next page. Ashok, next page.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Little bit slow. Okay, thank you.
Correct.
SAIPAM Code of Ethics. This is from corporate, and it's specific for everybody. No form of discrimination, corruption, forced or child labor is tolerated. Particular attention is paid to the acknowledgement and safeguarding of the employee's dignity, freedom and equity of human beings, the protection of labor, protection of the freedom of trade of union association, protection of health, safety, the environment, and biodiversity, as well as the set of values and principles concerning transparency, energy efficiency, and sustainability development in accordance with International Institute of Conventions. Next page.
So.
SAIPAM Group relies on a comprehensive set of regulatory instruments in the line with international standards of employment and requiring all SAIPAM people to respect, protect, and promote human rights. Such commitments is not only limited to SAIPAM, but extends also to subcontractors and vendors involved in its business activities. SAIPAM Code of Ethics principles are included in the contractual agreements with our subcontractors. This is one of the very important documents when we are getting into agreement with our subcontractors. In SAIPAM, any form of forced labor is forbidden. Threaten not to pay in case of justified disobedience. Employees are forced to work extra hours against their willingness. Threats of physical violence against the employee or his family. This is only a few subjects that has been covered by this procedures and policies. Next page.
Answer.
Employee handbook. Very important tool. Very important to everybody on the project. SAIPAM Employee Handbook is a guidance manual on general rules and procedures. The following information and sections are detailed in the Employee Handbook: safety guidelines, compensation and benefits to the workers, leave entitlement, freedom to move, disciplinary action and penalties, administrative minority penalties, grievance procedures, that is very important, provide public holidays, occupational health and safety, COVID-19 current mandatory rules, SAIPAM drilling emergency contact personnel. That is what is some of the topics that is being covered in the employee handbook. This handbook is being handed to all employees. They sign for it. On a regular basis, the HR representative in the office is going to the rig, and where possible, this is in person discussed with the employees. Next page. Employment and working contracts. SAIPAM based employment on the principle of equal opportunity and will not discriminate in any manner whatsoever. SAIPAM ensures that employment contracts are issued to workers both in English and prominent the language of the individual. SAIPAM employment contracts comply with all applicable laws and contain as a minimum job description, monthly wages, working hours, probation period, leave entitlement, duration of the contract, end of service benefits, medical insurance, and notice period for termination. Working hours, rotations, rest policy. The working hours, rotation, and rest policy are defined in line with the Kuwaiti law and SAIPAM internal labor norms and procedures. SAIPAM Kuwait drilling project fatigue management work instructions defines the fatigue risk management, proactive and reactive controls, the management of rest hours and management of stress factors. Next page.
Done. Recruitment fees.
Recruitment fees. SAIPAM has no recruitment fees from the worker as per SAIPAM policies. SAIPAM is maintaining records of all recruitment and make available to KOC when requested. Payment of wages. SAIPAM ensures that all payment of wages is as per Kuwaiti law and contract clauses. Wages are being paid through bank accounts to the workers and not by cash. All records of payment of wages are maintained and made available to KOC whenever requested. Next page.
Yes, sir. Food hygiene.
On both our SAIPAM rigs, we have got very good food facilities. SAIPAM provide facilities for eating that is being constructed in a manner that all food to be kept in a clean and sanitized condition. Food and drink water are provided for all workers. SAIPAM ensure that it is accordance with Kuwaiti municipal food hygiene rules and regulations. All food handlers is certified in accordance with the Kuwaiti law. Transportation is provided by the company in pool car buses. HR team shall organize the transport schedule to and from the project sites. Next page.
Done. Occupational health and safety.
Occupational health and safety. Periodical medical examination PME for the employees, insurance coverage and bear the cost for the treatment at government hospitals or private treatment centers includes medicine and transportation expenses of workers who suffered from injuries / occupational diseases. Next page.
First aid facilities. Yes.
First aid facilities. SAIPAM provide first aid facilities, personnel and ambulances to workers, which is always available at locations where employees are at work as required as by the client's HSE management system procedure, KOC.HSE.004 first aid procedure. SAIPAM provides suitable porta cabins with the following minimum basic facilities: good lighting, all the rooms with good ventilation, air conditioning, electrical power supplies, bathrooms with cold and hot water, furniture and electrical appliances. Next page.
PE.
PPE. SAIPAM provide for all its personnel uniforms, coveralls, boiler suit, gloves, footwear and other necessary personal protective equipment. Clothing in good condition is required by the nature of work, service to be performed, and as specified in the SAIPAM HSE management system. And such clothing shall be worn by the SAIPAM personnel whilst on duty. All SAIPAM PPE is KOC approved. Next page.
Grievances.
SAIPAM have got grievance procedure in place on project level as well as on corporate level. A grievance is an official complaint that is raised by an employee or employees towards an employer within the workplace and company provided accommodation and facilities. The grievance process in SAIPAM is managed by Human Resource Department, being responsible for the review and follow-up of the action taken to address the grievances. On both SAIPAM rigs, we call it the yellow boxes. That is situated all over the location, and on a weekly basis it has been emptied. If there is any grievance, it will be sealed and sent to the office where the Human Resource Department will take care and do the necessary actions. Training and awareness. As part of the employment, all SAIPAM personnel receive accompanies of SAIPAM Code of Ethics and practice to the induction training of human rights. SAIPAM personnel and subcontracted personnel on Rig 5946 and Rig 5913. Sorry, it must be 5913 and 5946, not 58. Received awareness training on human rights and a copy of codes of ethics. Next page.
Monitoring.
Monitoring. SAIPAM is monitoring the welfare of its employees by the means of management visits on site, weekly hygiene inspections, and by annual HSE audits. We have got a program every Saturday, management out of the office. That will be the operational manager, HSE manager, as well as the HR coordinator will visit the rig, and we will do some walkarounds, talk with the people, visit the main camp, and do random inspections. That is how we do our business. Next page.
Questions? So, Mr. Francois.
Yes, next page.
I change it to the next questions.
Yeah. We can answer later.
Yeah, thank you, Francois. We will have the question session at the end of our other two presentations. But in the meanwhile, if anybody else has got a questions, they can always leave it in the chat box. So we'll take up those questions at the end of the other two sessions. But just would like to congratulate SAIPAM as well as Mr. Francois for detailedly talking about the welfare measures as part of the KOC HSE procedure. Again, for the benefit of others, let me tell you that IFC, International Finance Corporation, recently audited, and SAIPAM was one of the auditee. So they gave a very good ranking to the SAIPAM. Whatever graphs they identified, SAIPAM has closed it, in fact. So we'd like to thank as well as congratulate them. So with that, this is Mr. Francois. I'm sure you are seeing the certificate on the screen now, which is given by our team leader, Mr. Marzouq Al Otaibi, for your presentation as well as the contribution for this welfare measures drive. So if you want, you can take the picture of the screen, which I'm going to leave it for 2 or 3 seconds, and we'll continue with the presentation. And these certificates are available in our office, room number 30, building number 6 in KOC Hamadi until 10th of the November. So before that, you are requested to collect the hard copies of the certificates. Okay.
I will do. Thanks, Mr. Ashok.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francois. Thank you. Appreciate. And let's go ahead with Mr. Viascheslav Saifulin, HSSET Manager of KCA DeutagGMBH. Mr. Viascheslav, would you like me to share, or you will share your slides?
Well, I think I'm already sharing.
Excellent, excellent. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to take part in your virtual drive and share our best practices. And I've been also taking part in a previous session where I saw a lot of good practices from our colleagues and different companies on how we maintain welfare of their employees. And I decided to make it a little bit different from what I saw before. Of course, our company, in line with Kuwaiti law and KOC contract requirements, we maintain our employees' welfare by providing decent catering facilities, payments, insurance, PPE, all this stuff, of course, is in place. And it was evident during several audits from KOC side. I just want to show you a few examples, few initiatives we have on welfare and well-being during last couple of years, which are quite easy and aimed to enhance well-being of our employees, both in office and on the rig side. So first, I want to show you a very simple slide with 5 smiles. And it's why I show it to you. Just imagine that we'll be on a smaller meeting with few of us, and I would ask you, which one are you today? So either you are number 1, 2, or maybe 5, and it will start.
I'm number 1 myself today.
Yeah, good. But But it's natural to, as it's written, it's natural to feel a range of emotions, and sharing your feelings with each other help you better understand and manage yourself. So people, when they think, well, what's my mood today? Am I number 1? Am I number 5? So first they discover their own state, and then they share it. And once you share, you already don't have it inside you, and you are not feeling alone. Yeah, and you already start thinking how to manage this condition. And really, first mental issues, if you have it. So first step to manage it, just to accept and to understand where you are. And we use this simple slide during our meetings, pre-shift briefings with crews, during online sessions. And it showed that people are really inspired to speak and to speak about themselves, about their mood. And this helps in our understanding. It helps them to stay healthier, better, and more inspired. Apart from this, KOC Deutag have a core value, and our core value is our people and their health and safety, of course, well-being. And during these unprecedented times, which we never faced before, during last couple of years, most of us experience different circumstances. And it's a great strain to our mental and physical well-being. So we have a year ago, last year, during pandemic and lockdowns, this become more important, of course. So we developed a procedure how to assess our team's well-being and other appropriate and offer appropriate support. So well-being is a state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy, and we made this assessment form which we use to support our teams. It's more an observation card, around 6 pages. It's not a medical, psychological form, just an observation. But based on the rating, we can distinguish people in groups, either they are red, amber, or green in terms of their well-being, and we can take actions. We capture responses from different locations. We identify people who are in a red condition, let's say, in terms of their mental health. And we do this paperwork, review, and discuss with relevant management if any actions need to be taken. So we use this form to support our colleagues' well-being for key groups like people who've been working on the rig more than 60 days. In Kuwait, we know occasions when people spend up to 12 months on the rig site. So we had lots of people in isolation and different quarantine areas inside, outside Kuwait. We had people who work remotely and living on their own, alone at home. Yeah, any colleagues who are classified as vulnerable. And also people who have recently undergone significant life event because COVID-19 added a stressful situation like health conditions of your family members, your friends, and so on. So we focused on these people and tried to help them as much as we can. So what we did, we use this form, just tick the boxes, explore the impact, and see where these people are. So we involve persons. It's not only a side observation. We involved every person to join discussion. And once we complete this form, we agree on actions ahead. For red, amber, and green, we set different actions, what we can do to maintain their well-being and to improve it. For example, during lockdown, when Kuwait was closed, we had some people from rig site. We sent them to hotel for a few days, just to have a different environment and stop thinking about work and just get a little bit of relax. And it really helped. So this is, we had few really red employees, which we need to take more serious actions up to sending them home. even we have a lack of personnel, but when we saw it's required, we did it. We also created some timeout for well-being cards to support teams discussions. So as a continuation of these smiley faces, yeah, we understand that people who stayed on the rigs for months and months, they need to be somehow supported by each other, because we cannot do it from our office. And we give them prompts on how to behave, what they can do during these situations, let's say, to improve their well-being. So we have developed a number of cards. I will show you later. When people have a necessity to speak, so they have time for it, we offer them some kind of subjects with timeout cards, so they can keep this discussion. We explained that well-being is a state of being happy, healthy, and prosperous, and mental well-being is a state of thriving in various areas of life, such as work relations at work, play, and more despite ups and downs. So we asked them to discuss things like what are you finding most difficult or challenging at the moment, what helps you to cope with this, what makes you feel anxious, what helps you feel less anxious, so people can share their own feelings on a specific subject like this. Overall, how happy did you feel yesterday? What can you do to improve your happiness level? What do you do to relax? How do you stop bad habits? What do you think would be helpful for a colleague who may not be feeling their best at the moment? So we encourage people to pay attention to their colleagues around, and if you feel you can support, just do it. Yeah, and what ideas can you share to improve your overall well-being? So we ask our employees to contribute to a general subject and share their thoughts, what we can do better for them. So these were cards which we issued to our recruits, and it's still there, so they can use it. And once we understand that this is quite an important and we cannot stop this because the pandemic situation isn't stopped, and Kuwait, starting maybe only a few days back, it's getting better, but all around the world situation is not so stable as in Kuwait. We developed another initiative which we call 5 Ways to Well-being, and 5 different ways how to maintain well-being of our colleagues. So it's 5 parts, as you see on the screen: take notice, connect, be active, give, and keep learning. So we explain with a series of nice posters. We asked all operations to share pictures to include on these posters. So we have pictures on this slide from all our locations, onshore, offshore, Middle East, Europe, Russia, etc. And we explain people how to behave in different conditions. So, for example, take notice, just explain people what it's good to listen and to talk. So look around, share your thoughts, ask people, and wherever you are, do what you can, enjoy what you do, move your mood. So it doesn't mean that on the rig side you cannot spend your time as good as you do it at home. So here are some examples when people encourage a member of KOC Deutag family to look around, notice, intervene for developing a safe environment. So our observation system is also kind of system where we ask people to engage and to support each other to work safely. And well, if I go back, so these posters we didn't throw it once. So like quarterly, we give people a new subject for discussion. and this is actually still ongoing on our rigs. So connect, so care for your colleagues. We ask them to connect with each other, speak, regardless it is on the rig side or at home. If you can do it online, offline.
Excellent, excellent. Viascheslav, we can't hear you. Your mic is mute or something.
Oh, is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yes.
Sorry,
But
I
we
have.
lost your screen. We lost your screen.
I will share again. I just have a connection interruption for
Okay.
some reason.
Perfect. We got now.
Yeah. Okay. So connect. We also have a connection between. We encourage people to speak not only to their direct colleagues, but connect between different departments, maintenance, safety, operations on the rig side, and so on. So just care for your colleagues and pay attention to what's going on around you. Be active. So we encourage people, but small changes make a big difference. So you can not only stay at work working, but also do your sports, do your some kind of activities. Despite the fact that it's challenging, but we have facilities enough to keep even your fitness up. Also at crew or at rig side, crew maintain an active lifestyle on the rig, just not physically, but also in terms of safety. Give. So we also advised our people to support and give your time to your families, your friends, spend holidays, mark birthdays on the rig side, and enjoy whatever you do as much as possible. So by giving this, it's kind of advice. It's not every person remember every day that he need to talk to his friend or call to his family, but we constantly during our pre-shift briefing, safety meetings, we encourage people not to close inside themselves, but be active, listen, speak, and share your thoughts, as I just explained on the first slide. So these are our few initiatives I showed you, which we used during these unprecedented times, and it was not paid so much attention before. We all know that this become more and more important, especially during pandemic. So this is quite new initiatives which we have in our organization. Also, we always keep learning, like try new experience, learn something if you have time. Like it was a lot of online trainings available during pandemic, and now it's becoming more and more popular. And continuous training of crew members for developing, enhancing their knowledge. This is what we did from our side as well by organizing online courses and trainings. And I think basically this is what I want to share today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Viascheslav, and it's a very unique presentation, I can say, and your focus on well-being observation is very, very nicely explained. I'm sure, as our team leader was telling, that this is the best practice I can say. The best practice of today is this one. Yeah, I fully agree with our team leader that let me show my slides. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I liked your tagline, operating safely, succeeding globally. So very well presented, Mr. Viascheslav, and thank you so much. I'm sure other business partners who are listening to this today, they also understand the importance of the well-being. And we all know that well-being is very, very key for either for the employee as well as the employer as well. So, Mr. Viascheslav, and this is the certificate of appreciation from our team leader, Mr Marzouq Al Otaibi, and this is available for your collection through some means. You can tell your rig people or anyone who is coming to Hamadi side, they can collect from the building number 6, room number 30 until 10th November. So then we will hand over back to your drilling groups, Mr. Stuart. Okay. And with that, we would like to continue with the third best practice of today. Mr. Stefaan is HSE Manager from Nabors Drilling. Mr. Stefaan, would you like to show me your presentation, or would you like to take over the control?
I will take over the control and I share my slides.
Very good, excellent. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully everybody sees my slides.
Yes, I can see. Yeah.
Okay, good morning or good afternoon to everybody. First of all, as my colleague already mentioned, I would like to thank everybody for this opportunity, and I'm glad that I am part of this campaign. As Mr. Viascheslav earlier mentioned, I choose to do the presentation for the welfare best practices a little bit different, and I didn't focus too much on the KOC or Kuwait regulations or rules, as at this time Nabors complies with all applicable rules and requirements regarding employees' welfare associated with accommodations, eating facilities, first aid facilities, medical care, training, employees development plan, wages, and transportation. So I choose to present some real examples with some initiatives that we took here at Nabors Drilling International, which I believe that may other contractors may not have the same measures. So I believe that the importance of this session is to try to learn one from each other and to see what we can do best for our employees to ensure that their state of well-being is achieved at its best. So at Nabors, everything starts with Nabors values, our core values. We have 5 of them: safety, we care; teamwork, we win together; excellence, we outperform; accountability, we keep our promises towards the employees and towards our customers; and of course, innovation. We try to explore new territories at all times and try to develop and implement smart solutions which will give a benefit and increase the state of well-being for all of us. The core values outline the promises that we never change or waver, right? So as a good practice from our side as well, these values are printed and posted in strategic locations, in common areas and on the desk offices. And the managers or supervisors, they have them available at any time. And we encourage and promote our team over here in Kuwait to use them as a guideline to evaluate and assess themselves whenever they are trying to take a decision or to implement a measure. So before I'm taking any decision regarding to our team, I always look to these values and I make sure that I comply with all of them. So Nabors' most valuable assets are people. As we know, people are the key for any social and economic development. So through effective management, people or labor, how we call them, can create a greater impact on an organizational effectiveness. This is why here at Nabors, we are committed to do our best in order to ensure our employees are given with the best benefits available. Even though I might be a little bit off topic, welfare for me means also the care we are given to our employees to properly advance in their career. they receive or they are provided with enough support, even though sometimes we are dealing with people with more or less experience, or they are more knowledgeable or less knowledgeable. We are individually assessing each of our employees and provide the specific support required or they required in order to ensure that they achieve their personal and their career goals, which I believe as well makes an impact on their state of well-being. They always feel comfortable that at any times we are giving any support required, and we don't judge people by the level of experience or by the level of knowledge. We try to provide each individual the support he needs to achieve the outcome and his goal in life. One of the best practices that we have here at Nabors is the ergonomics or computer workstation checklist. So at Nabors, computer workstations are inspected on a regular basis to ensure the employees are protected against the risk of injury to the musculoskeletal system. As we know, we are providing drilling services for our customer here in Kuwait, which of course you are, KOC, Kuwait Oil Company. Even though the most activities related to this industry are performed outside on the rig floor or rig annexure, we like to pay the same level of attention, and we are focusing to pay the same level of attention for the other employees as well, who may not work so much outside like the others. So that's why we are evaluating and assessing all our facilities and all our work environments in order to ensure that we take care of everybody and ensure that they are provided with the most comfortable work environment available or possible. When it comes to the provision of water or drinking fluid, I was told by some subcontractors that are working with other drilling contractors that not everywhere they see the provision of water or drinking fluid the same we provide at Nabors. So we know that hydration is important when it comes to our employees' health. And in order to ensure that our employees are getting enough hydration and the risk of infection is reduced to a minimum, the potable water and any other drinking fluids are provided in individual packing with no limit. So by providing water and drinking fluids in individual packaging, we ensure that our employees have at all times a comfortable and handy solution for carrying with them water or whatever they feel that they would like to drink. And of course, additionally to that, I didn't mention in the presentation, but like during the summer, we take initiatives like providing for the guys laban and ice creams, and we are trying our best to always adapt to the work environment, to the seasons. So they are given with the best or they are having the best service available, I can say. Additionally to the weekly inspections, or to the HSE inspections that are conducted in compliance with KOC procedures and regulations and rules, we are also providing a potable water inspection on a weekly basis in order to ensure that the water is within the safe limits at all time, and nobody is exposed at any kind of risk, especially when they are taking showers or using the industrial water, which is as well possible. Because we care about our employees and because we listen to their needs, at Nabors we decided to invest in the provision of gym at both locations. So we provide gyms at rig site and at the main camp as well, so we can encourage everybody to maintain a healthy lifestyle. As we know, regular exercise and physical activities promote strong muscle and bones, and it improves respiratory, cardiovascular health, and overall health. Even though some of the employees are working outside and perform the regular physical activities, which sometimes are enough for ensuring the level of fitness required to ensure a healthy lifestyle. We still have people that still are willing to perform fitness activities in a controllable environment and adequate as well. So as you can see, I mean, in these presentations, I only utilize or I only use real pictures from our facilities. As you can see, we provide high attention to details as well. And when it comes to design, we are trying to make our employees to feel as much as possible natural. We don't want to give them the experience of rig sites. We want them to have a different experience and to have a break. So that's why whenever we are providing any additional facilities to them, we are trying to make them feel like they are not on duty and they are going to a regular gym, for example. Natural environment. Mental health includes our emotional, physiological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. There is a clear connection between mental health and people performance. At Nabors, we are trying to make available to our employees environment as comfortable as possible. So these pictures that I use here is the picture. I mean, it's from our base facility, and as you know, since pandemic, a lot of changes occurred in our employees' lives. Many of them were not able to travel back home for prolonged periods. And together with the management team, we invested and come with solutions to try to reduce as much as possible the whole homesickness and make them feel as much as possible like home and provide them a pleasant ambient. Additionally to what you are able to see in this picture, we are providing recreation facilities fitted with pool tables, darts, PlayStation. And again, this is only just to make them feel as comfortable as we can, and of course to keep them happy, right? Because they are our people and we care about them. Continuous improvement is an ongoing process that takes place at Nabors. And we are trying to do on a regular basis improvements related to our facilities, accommodations, or any other kind of services that we are providing to our employees. At the beginning, we start with different sanitation stations. As we know, in the early stage of COVID-19 pandemic, the availability of sanitation solutions were not so big as now, or were not so developed as now. And later on, we try to come with more and more handy solutions for our employees. And instead of using sanitizing sprays and rags or clothes to clean their surfaces, we are providing, as you can see in the picture, comfortable solutions, easy to be used and ready to go. So meeting rooms, we are refurbishing our accommodations, as mentioned earlier, on a regular basis. So we are doing all these changes just to make our employees feel as much as comfortable and to do the best we can for them. Probably I'm shorter than my colleagues. This is my presentation for today, and if you have any questions, I'm open to answer all of them. And once again, thank you everybody for this opportunity.
Thank you, Stefaan, and appreciate your sharing of the best practices. Appreciate your sharing of the core values. You already highlighted the valuable assets are the people again, which is a very important component of the welfare measures. So thank you for sharing, and on behalf of our team leader, we would like to provide you the certificate of appreciation for for your technical presentation as well as the contributions during this virtual drive. As I mentioned earlier, this will be available in room number 30, building number 6 in Hamadi, HSE E&D team. You can collect anytime until 10th November. So that's one of the things we would like to pass on to you. So as per the agenda, which I was briefing in the discussion, I'm going to open the discussion. If you have any questions, you can always put on the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and talk. Anyone?
Yeah, hello, Ashok. This is David on
Yes.
UPDC 155.
1 minute. I recommend if everybody has got a cameras, they can open and we can have the gallery view when they are talking. Please go ahead and open your cameras. It's wonderful to see everybody.
Yeah, I don't have a camera available, unfortunately,
No
Ashok.
problem. Go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the excellent presentation from yourself and all the other participants. And without a doubt, these new procedures are welcome regarding welfare for the employees.
Yes.
My first question is, does the reference to subcontractors include catering companies, specifically
very much.
regarding
Yes.
the charges from agencies, the retention of passports, and
Yes.
in some cases the requirement for catering employees to provide return tickets before their passports are released?
Yes, it is very much applicable. Catering contractors are very much part of the subcontractors. If anybody is not meeting the requirement, you can always take up to the controlling team as well as the superintendent of contract. No?
Okay, so based on that, are catering contractors being required by letter to return passports to catering crew?
Yes, they are not supposed to retain their passports. Yes.
Okay, so I can use this new procedure to facilitate that.
It's clearly mentioned in one of the class that passports are not supposed to be retained by their employers. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And my second point, I'll keep it brief. During the biannual audits, it's pleasing to hear that pay records will be checked.
Yes.
And I would encourage you to pay particular attention to the pay records for roustabouts and for floor hands.
Certainly. We are noted, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, that's it from me. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And again, since you are from UPDC, your company will be presenting on the third session, 15th December, I think. Yeah. So that's what your HSE manager has confirmed that. Okay.
It is. Yeah, I'm KOC HSE on here. I don't work for UPDC. I'm the KOC HSE supervisor.
Yeah. Your profile says UPDC 155. That's what I was
okay, no problem.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashok.
Thank you very much. Appreciate. Okay. Anybody else has got any comments? Or any observations on our virtual drive which is going on? Good. So I'm going back to my presentation. I'm going to share some of the information which is related to the psychological stress, which I was talking actually. So I'm sure you are able to see the screen. So again, as our team leader was telling that we did the virtual drive inaugural session on 12th October. Today is the 27th October, exclusively for the North Kuwait Rig Fleet, as well as other facilities of E&D Directorate. And in West Kuwait Rig Fleet, we'll be doing on 17th November. And in Southeast Kuwait, we'll be doing on 15th December. As you see today, it was particularly our chief of invitee, I can say, Mr. Stuart Craig from Deep Drilling Group. On West Kuwait, we will be having a invitation from the chief of invitee from Development Drilling Group 1, and Southeast Kuwait on 15th December from Development Drilling Group 2. So they will be participating as well. And now I wanted to share you some good resource related to the psychological health and safety at work. which I presented during my presentation. Psychological assessment is one of the key requirements of the KOC HSE 25. As you see on the screen, which is ISO 45003 Academy, and this particular ISO 45003 psychological health and safety at work is a standard which has been released by ISO during March 2021, especially focusing on what we are talking today. And this particular standard, what are the components? There are about 7 or 8 modules. This is a free training available on the ISO 45003.org. It's a free standard of about 7 to 8 modules and about 1.5 hours duration. Every module has got a quiz. Once you pass the quiz, you go to the second module. Once you complete all the modules, you will get the certificate of completion. Basically, it talks about how to do the psychological health and safety at work, what are the hazards and what are the risk controls. You can have it very systematic training program, pre-training program. I recommend everybody to attend ISO 45003.org. Okay. So with that, we would like to conclude our today's presentation of North Kuwait virtual drive. And again, as our friend said, that the focusing as well as the enforcement implementation of these requirements is very important. Many things can be there on the procedure, many things can be there on the documents and the shelves, but how you are implementing it, he raised the issue of the catering crew. Catering crew are very much part of the subcontractors. That's what is the whole purpose of this virtual drive as well as the welfare procedure. Our HSE supervisors are again verifying during our inspections and verifications. We are bringing back to the controlling team attention. Again, if you have any more issues, you can write back to us referring the issue. We can always try to take up with the controlling teams. With that, we would like to conclude this our presentation. But if anybody has got any questions or any comments on this particular virtual drive program, you are always welcome to share your views as well as by in the chat box or in the through the email which we are circulating it. Okay. Thank you very much. And if anybody has got any comments, you can raise your hand or you can open your mic and speak. Everybody has opened the mic. I would like to take the screenshot so that this will be there for our records as well. I'm going to take the number 1 screenshot of the screen. Then, very nice. So some people are attending through the conference halls. Let me see. Stuart is just opened his mic, his camera. Let me copy that screenshot and come back to the another screenshot. Okay. Gallery view. Yes, large gallery. Let me go to the large gallery so that I can see the pictures of the people. Yep, perfect. So many things. Yes. Okay. Let me share this one. Okay, that's good. So many people on the call. Mr. Rajesh also, I can see our good friend. Stuart, any concluding remarks from your side?
No, not really, Mr. Ashok. I think it's been a very comprehensive meeting. I would like to thank the contractors for the presentations. Obviously, it's, as you very well know, it's not easy putting together these presentations, and it does require a bit of work. So well done to all of them. Well done to E&D for having this workshop, and thank you for all the guys in the field who took the time out to attend.
Yeah, we would like to thank everybody. In fact, Stuart, we ourselves were not aware such welfare best practices are available. I'm introducing our team member, Madam Reem. She joined in KOC, our HSE E&D team recently, almost a month back. She had shown so much interest in presenting today. She has presented a Medivac, which is the evacuation of the injured personnel through the helicopters, which is a new phenomena or the new process which KOC has established. So we wanted to bring everybody onto the floor, so we wanted everybody to aware that this system is available. So that's one of the good things we have shared today. And I would like to thank everybody and appreciate your support and cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I am now closing the call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.